Since your husband's affair, have you become an FBI agent? Have you become an incredible detective? Well, the clients I work with are so incredible when it comes to sifting through papers, going through phones, looking through emails. It's amazing the information they've uncovered because it helps them with survival. So, with all that information comes a lot of questions, and that's what I want to address today. Have you asked questions that you wished maybe you'd never asked? In the moment, it felt very good. It felt right to ask those questions, but now the information's burned in your mind. So, with that said, these questions that you've had can be harmful in some ways. So, how do you figure out what questions to ask, what questions not to ask? What questions, yeah, do you even ask? So, questions about their physical connection. Have you asked any of those questions? Maybe questions about the deep conversations they've had. Maybe questions about, you know what, maybe some of the horrible things they've said about you or your marriage. So, if you can relate to this, what I want to do today is I want to talk about 7 reasons why you keep asking questions that may or may not be hurtful. We'll kind of figure that out together and what to do about it, whether you need to stop that cycle or whether it's something that's helping your healing. So, with that said, you don't want to miss out on this training. It's full of gold. It has lots of good tips for you if you find you're asking a lot of questions and trying to figure out, should I keep asking them? Are they hurting me? Are they helping me with my healing? So I know you're here because you're going through a lot. You truly are. You're searching for information, trying to find ways to heal. And what I want to do is get you a win for today. I want to give you some insights, some strategies. If you know me, I'm right to the point. I don't like a lot of fluff. I just want to give you the strategies, the tips so that you can implement them, so that you can start healing yourself, repairing your marriage if that's what feels right, rebuilding trust. Because I know right now you're here because you're not ready to give up. You may be some days at 3 out of 10 wanting to save your marriage, and other days you might be a 10 out of 10. But I know you're here because you still have hope and you still want to work on your marriage. So with that said, I'm Beth Miller. I am a marriage coach. I am a certified trained hypnotist, and have helped hundreds of women heal from betrayal and also save their marriages. So if you want some more support, whether it's free, complimentary support, what you could do is DM us the word chat, or you can put it in the comments below. And what we can do is we can set up a quick 15-minute call with you and give you some personalized strategies. No pressure. What I do is we put it out there, and you know what? If you want help, great. If not, we're happy to help because it can be a very, very lonely and confusing process on what to do. So if you do hop on that 15-minute call, it's just about, questions about like your husband's behavior, what you're struggling with most, the relationship dynamics, and then we'll give you a next step. So you don't have to keep second guessing on what to do. Um, Last business item here is, if you enjoy these videos, if you're on YouTube, subscribe, like, because you know what that does? My favorite to you is it gets this information out to many other women because of the algorithm. So like or subscribe, and that helps other women get this content. And if you're not in the Facebook group, feel free to join our Infidelity and Affairs Support Group for Women. It's a private, confidential group. You can anonymously post, and it's a place where you can share, vent. But when we vent, we also want to take action so that we don't stay stuck, where you can learn from others and not feel so alone. Okay, so with that said, let's go back to the topic. That's all the business items out of the way. So 7 reasons that you may keep asking questions. Should you keep asking them? Are you stuck in a cycle of asking unhealthy questions? So let's dig into this to figure out what you need to ask and what you should not be asking. So feel free, give me a thumbs up below in the comments if you've ever asked questions that have haunted you. You're like, in the moment, I thought that's what I needed to know, but now I have this ingrained in my head and I can't get out of it. So have you ever regretted asking questions? Or maybe you're like, you know what, I needed to ask this question. Questions such as, was she prettier than me? Do you find her more attractive than me? Do you love her? Did you love her? Did you tell her you loved her? Where did you sleep with her? Was she better in bed than me? Did you ever think about her when you were with me? How did you see her, but then act so normal with us? How many times did it happen? Did you talk about me to her? Do you miss her now? Do you wish you would have left me to stay with her? Would you go back to her if you could? Did you buy her gifts? How much money did you spend on her? What exactly did you do together? What restaurants did you go to? And yeah, where else did you take her? So have you asked any of those questions? And how are you triggered in certain ways where you're like, I drive past that place, or it's difficult being intimate with them because I have these thoughts in my head. And it might not just be thoughts. What happens is when we get answers, our brain thinks in almost movies and pictures, and we create these images of maybe them being together and going places, of him smiling, them laughing. It's like we know how he acts, like, you know how your husband acts, but then you can see it, almost put the pieces together, and we create these images. So anyway, let's dive in. Let's dive in. And as these questions come up over the next week or this weekend, what you can do is kind of take this information, this filter that I'm going to give you to figure out, should I ask these questions? So with that said, betrayal puts your nervous system into chaos. I truly believe that infidelity pain is some of the worst pain you can ever feel, just because it doesn't make sense at all. There's so many questions, so many lies, so much confusion. At times, this is a really drastic statement, but it can feel worse than the death of someone, because that, you know what, there could be natural causes, or you know what, it's very black and white. This is what happened. But this is just such a mess. It rattles your brain and your nervous system. So after betrayal, your nervous system is in complete chaos. And you're trying to survive, is what you're trying to do. You're trying to survive emotionally, which often means saying things that you feel necessary in the moment, asking questions that you think are important in the moment. But what happens is sometimes it can cause more pain. Sometimes it can also create healing in the end as well. So your brain is starved for safety, is what it really is. It's like, is this going to happen again? Is he still doing this? What did they do together? Should I stay in this marriage? And it wants to feel safe. And it's your mouth asking questions seems to be an outlet for trying to get that information. Because even if energetically sometimes you feel the connection, or you hear his words like, I want to stay, it's over, it's done, your nervous system's like, I don't know. It's like fired up, and it's like wondering, am I safe? So when you're triggered, sometimes we don't speak from our authentic self, from your grounded self. And so when you're feeling sad, angry, scared, sometimes you're asking questions, saying things, as you know, that come from a wounded place inside. Whether you're terrified, overwhelmed, grieving, these questions come up. So let's figure out what you should be asking and what not to ask. Because spoken words questions have a way of sometimes poking, pushing, provoking, which can lead sometimes to him shutting down, him getting defensive, and creating more damage when it comes to connection, rebuilding trust, because he needs to trust that he can open up without feeling. Oh, feeling but you have a right to feel, trust me, like angry, sad, but he needs to feel safe to express it, that, he's gonna say it, and how is it gonna be brought up, and then what are the repercussions of it? So we wanna figure out how to create this healthy conversation and dialogue. So let me ask you, have you ever asked him questions that you know, maybe regret the answers, or have you ever asked questions that you're like, "Yes, that definitely helped me?" And I think we ask questions for a couple of reasons, and the filter I wanna take you through is, why am I asking this question? So you have a question, just think of one right now, a question I have. Why do I want to ask this question? Have I asked it before? Okay, yes, no. Um, do I need to know the answer to this for my healing today? And then back to that question of, have I asked it before? If you've asked it before, why are you asking again? Is it because you don't believe his answer? Is it because you want to see if he has a different answer? I had a client yesterday who said something brilliant. She's like, I don't want to tell lies, because then you have to remember your lies. And then if you can't remember all your lies, it just becomes a mess, right? And so, do you believe his answers? Has he been saying the same thing to all your answers, but you're still not believing it because subconsciously it just doesn't make sense? So yeah, why are you asking it? Do you need to ask it for your healing today? Those are really powerful questions, because maybe you do need the answer, but today, you know what? You're too raw, too many wounds. You're like, you know what? I'm going to put that in a journal. That's what I usually suggest, is create a page in your journal, or in your notes app, of all the questions that you have. So I would go ahead and do that. Um, so let me ask you this. Are you feeling like your marriage and your life are out of control? So this is one of the reasons why we ask these questions, because your brain is desperate for control. And that's why it wants to ask these questions. What happens is your brain is panicking. It's wanting to collect data, is wanting to collect information so it can piece the puzzles together, because there's so many lies, so many deceit. Whether your husband knows it or not, he may not be owning his own truth. He may have been telling him stories for so long as to, I did this because, and trying to justify his behavior. So he doesn't even know the truth. He has his own perspective, own lens that may not be accurate. And so that messes with you too, because he doesn't even know why he's been doing this stuff. Um, so it starts with you wanting to collect evidence, being a detective, thinking of all the questions, the answers, and that thinking that this is going to help stop the chaos, that you're going to be able to put the puzzles together. But asking questions can actually create a sense of false control. The answers, let me ask you this: do they ever satisfy? Sometimes they do. Um, Or do they just kind of feed an obsession with wanting to know more or feed the disappointment and like, okay, he's still lying, he's not telling the truth. So, thinking about the questions, does it help you feel better or does it make you feel worse? Especially if you've asked the same questions multiple times. So, I'm not saying it, let me be clear here. I'm not telling you to ask questions, not ask questions. I'm just giving you a lens, a filter to think about the things that you're asking and why you're asking it. Is it I'm trying to gain control? I'm trying to understand. And if I ask this, will I actually gain control and understand? Will I believe the answer? So when it comes to infidelity, there are many ways to heal. And asking questions feels like one of them. And asking those questions from there, there's other ways to start healing as well, whether he's answering them or not. It's then going to therapy, meditation, journaling, taking time for yourself. But my big question is, are they working? So what we do often is because these questions, they keep coming up. You start overthinking, you start analyzing. One of our secret tools, and I'm going to get into this along with some other ones, is we use hypnosis. And you're like, hypnosis? Why are you doing that? You know what it is? It really, your subconscious mind right now is in overdrive. And that's the part of the mind we need to get to. And whether you use the word hypnosis or not, what we're doing is we get into a very relaxed state. You go in and out of it every single day. And so sometimes when you get very quiet with your thoughts, you can start talking to your thoughts and be like, all right, thoughts, I hear you. And that's when we can turn off the logical brain a little bit. You're not asleep. Your logical brain is still there. But then also the subconscious mind is there too. And so hypnosis is really a way to kind of calm that busy mind that wants to ask all the questions. And the subconscious mind is where the truth is. It's there with the pain, with the wounds, with the questions, with the uncertainty, with the beliefs of I'm not enough. He's going to do this again. I can't trust. It is very simple what the subconscious mind holds. It's like, I am not. I am not safe. I am scared. I am. And so what it does is when we can calm that beta brain, the one we're thinking, planning, where we spend like almost our entire day in, minus when we're sleeping. Sleeping is a totally different state. It's not a hypnosis state, but when we're in that really busy brain, that's when we're on overdrive and it gets very overwhelming, very chaotic. So we go into what's called a theta brainwave state. It's just before sleep, but you're still fully awake, alert. Like the kids could walk in and I'm like, all right, I'm awake, I'm alert. And you can do self hypnosis. You can listen to hypnosis tracks, or you can be with a hypnotherapist as well. So there's many ways to get into that theta state. It's actually best to, even if you're not doing traditional hypnosis, a good time to do this is as soon as you wake up in the morning or before you go to bed. Get your journal out because a lot of your thoughts that your subconscious mind have are right there, right at the forefront before you get up for your day. So that's the state that you're in. It's kind of the just waking up stage, just going to bed where you have to get up, but that's a good time to start writing out all your thoughts. So in that state is really where we can start to rewire emotional safety. And that's when we can figure out these questions I'm asking, do I need to ask them? So with that said, we're talking about seven things to ask yourself to make sure that how am I going to word this? I'm going to say 7 reasons you keep asking questions and if you need to keep asking them. So the first one there really was, how do I want to word that? Right? I worded it as just going back to my notes here. Yeah, are you feeling like your marriage is out of control, your life's out of control? That's why you're asking questions. So the next one really is, are you asking questions because you're trying to make sense of the pain? Yeah, absolutely. You're totally trying to make sense of it. So after betrayal, your heart is in shock, your mind is scrambling. You're like, what is he? Who is he? What is our marriage? What was our marriage? What is our life going to be going forward? Everything is so fragile. So are you trying to make sense of the pain? And so you start asking questions. Why did he do this? What was missing about me? Was our whole marriage a sham? Who has he been? And so your brain's trying to process this trauma, right? This like all of these questions, this mess. And so when something life shattering happens, like betrayal, and truly like it's heart shattering, it's life shattering, it's scary. Um, your mind is looking for meaning. It's trying to figure this out so it doesn't happen again. So it can figure out what's going to happen in the future. So it wants to ask questions so it can stop the hurt. But what happens is asking the questions, what sometimes happens, not always, but the truth doesn't always come out. It rarely makes logical sense at the beginning because what he did wasn't carefully thought out. It was often made from a place of his own wound. And if he's not in touch with that wound within him, whether he needed validation, whether he was trying to fill a void of trying to feel happy, or just something was happening in his life, or like, something was happening, whether it was past pain, and all of a sudden he's like, "I can't run from it anymore. I don't love who I am anymore. I'm not enough," or maybe it's a wound, and if he doesn't recognize that wound, it's not really gonna make sense. So, often husband's infidelity, not always, but it often comes from this kind of emotional immaturity where they're not able to process their emotions in a safe way. So they try to find ways to numb it. It can come from their unresolved wounds. It comes from their unmet needs, even though you're trying the best, but they maybe didn't articulate these needs that they thought they had about maybe feeling scared or sad and not how to like step up or get your support. It could be also avoidant behavior. They're trying to avoid certain things of like talking about their feelings. So it's easier to go numb it. It could be about their worth, but you know what? It's not about you. And so we keep asking these questions. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense. And that's something we have to be okay with. So trying to make sense out of the pain. Um, so your brain keeps trying to solve it like a math problem, but it's not that logical typically. You replay moments that you're trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together, trying to dissect every conversation. You're over analyzing at times. And so what we want to do is just like, oh, be present, right? Because I thought we're constantly in the past trying to analyze or in the future being like, what's the future going to hold? Is he going to do this again? Because what happens is no answer sometimes can, like, no answer he gives can feel satisfying. Even when he does try to explain it, sometimes it can create more questions and more pain or more not believing him, lack of trust. So, why does this happen? Because in searching for logic, you're trying to search for safety too, that I can prevent this from happening again and I fully understand. So the mind is trying to rebuild something, making it solid again when really it's kind of pieces of a broken story. And he needs to kind of understand why he's doing it. And you have to decide, do I need to know these answers? So you think if you just figure it out, the pain will stop, but instead it keeps you stuck in a loop. What happens is asking questions keeps you stuck in the loop of asking, overthinking, obsessing. It hurts, right? It's this cycle. We'll talk about this cycle and sometimes how we get stuck in it in an unhealthy way of almost addicted to the chemicals that are happening in our body. Not that it's okay, not that you're trying to do it on purpose, but it's like a protection. So again, back to like a relaxed state of hypnosis or theta brain-based state, what happens is hypnosis rewires the mind to release the obsession with why. Why did he do this? Why did he do this? Because your mind can then get to a place of, you know what? I don't know why it happened, but what can I control? I choose to stay. I choose to work on myself. I choose to heal myself because regardless of what happens, I need to be okay. And so what happens is hypnosis can like kind of like, it like calms everything, makes everything so clear and simple, being like, he did that. It's hurtful. It's not right. It's not okay. But I'm going to be okay. I can let go of fear of finances, our family, our future, because I know when I am my best self, I will attract exactly what I need. And so hypnosis helps rewire the mind, getting rid of the why, and it gently guides you into acceptance of, okay, this happened. This is part of my story. I don't want it to be part of my story, but it's not my today. It's not my today. So it can calm, it can soothe, it can neutralize that brain, that logical brain that's like bzzz, just chattering away, like trying to be the detective, that FBI agent. Um, and so what happens is it really speaks to the subconscious mind. Because how this works, if you watch any other videos that I've done, our mind has memories. And some of these memories we've kind of created on our own. We might know some of the details of what he did, but we've pieced together the puzzles of images, which we may or may not ever seen. And that's okay. That's how our mind works. So we have these memories, things he said, or like how we've created the story to go, which creates these beliefs of he's going to do it again. I can't trust him. I'm not enough, or he doesn't care for me. If he really loved me, he wouldn't have done this. So these memories create these beliefs. They're very simple. They're I am not statements. I can't do anything right. I can't get the answers out of him. Those are the beliefs. And then from there, this is where things go really messy and sideways. It's the thoughts. Like, I can't trust him. That belief alone can be like, where is he? What's he doing? I see he's on his phone. He's late. He's going to work. Is he going to talk to her? It's like so many thoughts. And we already have 60,000 thoughts a day. And then add in more thoughts. It's so overwhelming. Your nervous system is just like, it's on fire. And sometimes you may even feel like it's actually like your body's so agitated and it's just like you just need to shake it out. It's just so painful. You want to scream, you want to yell, you want to shut down because it's so uncomfortable. And so what we want to do is really satisfy those thoughts of, you know what, I can't trust him right now, but today I choose to trust him. I don't know what our marriage holds, but I know I'll be okay. It's like you have the belief, but we add in this adjunct. We add in a little other belief to it, so that calms the thoughts that keep coming. So memories create our thoughts, create those thoughts. Sorry, memories create our beliefs, create our thoughts. And then our thoughts create our emotions. So if we have a new belief of I can't trust him today, however, I'm working on healing myself and I'm okay with waiting to see if he's going to do the work he says he's going to do. That, not so many thoughts. which then create the emotions of feeling more calm, more peaceful. Um, and then what happens is it creates different behaviors. Maybe you're not yelling, sleeping, shutting down. Instead, you're able to function better, focus more at work. Um, okay, so with that said, hypnosis helps release the mind of the obsession of why, neutralizes the logical brain. So my third point here is, why do we keep asking these questions? Do you need to keep asking these questions? Is my question to you is, do you need to know every detail? And some women will be like, yep, I need full disclosure. I need to know everything. Other women will be like, I've been here this much. I don't want to hear about the physical part, but I want to hear this. Other women are like, I wish I knew nothing. I wish I almost didn't know this so I could just move on. So it's common to believe for I think for most women that you do want to know everything because every message, every date, every lie, everything they did together, it feels like gathering the whole story will somehow help you process it, somehow protect you from future hurt. Because if your mind's like, okay, he did this, these are the signs, it's like I can see it. And if I see it, then I can make sure it doesn't happen again. But ultimately, it's a surrender thing. Um, because I see he's doing the work. I have boundaries in place. We're doing check-ins. That's what's going to keep you safe. It's not seeing the past and recognizing the signs always. Yeah, recognizing the signs can help a little bit, but ultimately it's the relationship that you're building together, the trust, the communication, the boundaries. And so, anyway, gathering the whole story somehow feels like it's going to help you process it. It's going to protect you from hurt. So you might be telling yourself, I need to know the truth so I can make an informed decision to stay or go, right? Like, I need to know the details so I can decide to stay or go. What details, let me ask you too, if you want to journal it, like, what are the deal breakers? What details might you hear that will be like, nope, I'm done, I'm out? My other belief too that a lot of women say is, once a cheater, always a cheater. If he ever cheats, I'm gone. But then they're so mad at themselves. Like, I feel like a fool. I feel like a fool for staying because I always said if he cheated, I'd be gone. But now I'm here. And so sometimes that can happen with the details. You find out details thinking if he did this, I'm gone, I'm out. But then you find out the detail and you're like, oh, okay, now I'm still gonna stay. And you start healing and working on that. Um, so here's some of the heartbreaking truth when it comes to asking questions is details rarely bring peace. Often they can haunt your brain more. And again, certain pieces of details you do know. And that's why it's a personal thing. You need to check in with yourself. Do I need to know this today? Is this question important to ask? Is it going to help my healing? Is it going to help our connection? Because what happens is often when we know more details, it can create more triggers. You're driving past a restaurant, creates more mental images, more emotional landmines can pop up. So once you hear these details, these questions that have been asked, you can't unhear them. However, if you have heard them, hypnosis does help with that. I help women all the time with that. If they know the details of the physical affair or things that were said and done or locations, I can help with all that. So if you've already gone down that path and you know too much, please reach out to us. We can help you with that. Um, because I know a lot of women are just stuck in the loop of seeing scenes in their head, visualizing conversations and imagining things that have happened. And I say imagining from a place of kindness because that's how our brain works. It tries to put the pieces together, it creates images to go with them. So the mind can become like a movie reel that you can't turn off. And that's what happens. Instead of helping you process, it keeps that movie playing. And so the urge to get the full story and complete that movie can create this hyper vigilance. Um, your brain doesn't feel safe. Your nervous system doesn't feel safe. And so what happens is the more details you gather, the more your brain starts to loop in them. So instead of building clarity, what happens is it builds triggers. So hear that for a second. Instead of getting clarity from all the details, it can build triggers. So it's like this balancing act between, do I need to know this for clarity or is it going to build more triggers? Which is why we ask the question, do I need to know this for my healing today? Is this going to help me with my healing today? So instead of asking these questions and getting answers, is it going to find you closure or is it going to create more confusion, more shame, more blame? Is it going to create a thunderstorm of more questions because you got that one answer? And again, this is so personalized, so individual. I share this information just to help you think about your questions before you ask them. And again, kind of back into hypnosis, how can it help when you're trying to find out, do I need to know all these details? Will the details help? And so what happens is hypnosis can help you detach from those answers and be like, you know what? I I see those images, I see those words, and I let them go because they're in the past. They're no longer helping me today. I am different. He is different. He is not that person. I choose to trust and let go of doubt that it's going to happen again. And so what happens is it helps you detach. It's like we can cut this cord And then it's like, okay, that's the past. It's like we look at the chapter of you, the beautiful chapter, say it's the chapter of Beth. And I can see in the chapter a year ago, I can see what was happening, but that is not my story today. We can totally separate it. And that's what happens. The subconscious mind's trying to find patterns. It's like, well, he did this in the past and I see him kind of doing this now. Does that mean he's cheating again? We need to be able to see it in isolation. That's the past. But again, you're not doing it naively. Like it's like, okay, I'm now going to check in. I'm going to calmly, grounded, ask the questions I need to ask. Okay, so with that said, yeah, I guess with the hypnosis, it helps you file it. Maybe that's a good way to put it. Kind of files it in the back so that you can focus on the present, not the past. Okay, number 4. Another fourth question you kind of need to ask yourself is your nervous system, this one's crazy and you may feel crazy, but is your nervous system addicted to the highs and the lows of getting answers? I know, crazy. Is it addicted? Of course, like you're like, no, I hate this feeling. But hear me out for a second. It can be true for some ways, absolutely. You can become kind of like unaware of it, but you can become addicted to the highs and the lows. And let me explain this. Like what happens is trauma, it creates this cocktail of cortisol, adrenaline, so many emotions. And your feelings are your feelings. Like literally you feel sad. There's a neurochemical that like washes over your body. That's why sometimes you actually feel like, have you had swoosh come over your body where it's just like dread comes over you? That is a neurochemical in your body. And so when a wife discovers infidelity, her nervous system, like we talked about, goes into this survival mode, this like hypervigilant stage of like looking around, which is why we can't sleep because there's so much cortisol, right? So your nervous system goes into survival mode because betrayal is trauma. It's actually changing the way you interact with your world. That's what trauma is. It changes the way you respond and act to things. And so that's why we want to help release the trauma, get yourself back to the way that you were able to cope with life before. And so let me explain. Trauma is this chemical cocktail, and your nervous system goes into survival mode. And so, how does this have to do with being addicted to highs and lows? Well, the question becomes a way of trying to control the unknown. Every new detail can feel like a hit of certainty. You're like, okay, I got that detail. Okay, that feels like another clue. But it can also be a hit of pain. You're like, I got that information, but wow, that hurts. That was like a big blow. The nervous system can get hooked to the cycle of like relief, like, okay, I got that answer, but then also pain. Get an answer, feel pain, feel temporarily safer, but then need more. So you get that? So you ask a question, you get a truthful answer for once. And then what happens is you then feel some relief because you're like, I got that answer. But then you feel pain because it hurts so deeply. And then you feel temporarily again safer, but then you want to know more because it creates more questions. So it's like a roller coaster. The highs are the tiny moments of knowing with the lows of this like gut punch, right? And over time the body starts to like get used to this jolt of the brain being wired, feel fear, ask a question, get an answer, feel safe, but then feel more pain. So in other words, it's not that you want to hurt yourself in this cycle, this roller coaster. It's that your nervous system thinks digging for answers will help with feeling safer. But then what happens is there's repercussions to it. So by staying on the roller coaster, it keeps your wounds really raw. And so hypnosis again, it shifts the nervous system out of fight or flight. And what happens is when you have these questions, this wanting to know control of the unknown, your body starts to learn to regulate that what happens next? I'll be okay. I need to know these answers? No, it's just going to hurt me more. Or do I need to know this answer? Yeah, I do. And it's part of my check the box. I need to know this to move forward. And you can do so from a place of peace. I don't need to know it now, but eventually I need to know it so that I can move forward safely. So what happens is you're no longer chasing the emotional spikes. You're very much, okay, today is today. I'm going to ask what I need to ask. If he's being dismissive, defensive, that's him. I'll voice my opinion and say, you know what, I need to know this in order to move forward. I see you're not ready to answer it. I see you don't think it's true. And then what happens is you can step away calmly. If you're not feeling calm, then you get your journal out or you can do a hypnosis track if you want. We have all these pre-recorded ones. It might be the safe one. It might be the stress relief. There might be one that you want to do. And just with that said, we work with wives for like 12 weeks very intently, but we do also have some like private sessions that can be done one-on-one. We also do have just a collection, like a monthly subscription to all these different, about 20 different hypnosis tracks that you can listen to kind of relieve the fear, the trust, the whatever you're stuck in that moment. Okay, so with that, then the next one, my fifth one is, are you seeking reassurance in the wrong places? Okay, this is kind of, you feel like, am I asking questions and seeking reassurance in the wrong places? So you keep hoping that he's going to say the right thing, that maybe this time the answer will make sense. But what happens is the reassurance from the person who caused the pain rarely sticks. You don't believe it because there's been so many lies. So what happens is you look for reassurance from the person who hurt you most. And what happens is it leaves you needing more because he broke your trust and you don't believe him. So hypnosis, what it does is help you rebuild the trust within yourself. That's what it is. It has to start with you. You need to trust yourself. You need to trust your intuition, that kind of inner knowing. We got to hone in and connect with that. You need to see her. You need to feel her. And that's what we do. We get this like kind of calming presence that comes in. And clients, when we do this, they're like, I feel her. I feel my inner knowing. Like I feel it's like expansive. It's light. It's like this buzz within you. And it's like, hey, I know what I need to do. And what happens is it's so rooted in neuroscience that that chemical, that new emotion, remember I just talked to you about your neurochemicals are yours? When we can get to that place of hearing your truth, it's such a calm that comes over your body. That's such a beautiful emotion, a serotonin, like a comforting feeling that comes over your body. Okay, so number 6, you need and we have 7, by the way. You need to feel emotionally close, even through conflict. Yeah, interesting, right? Like, does fighting make you feel emotionally closer? It's a way of connecting, and sometimes it's the only connection is to fight because he keeps pulling away, maybe. So sometimes you say things just to see how he'll respond. Will he fight with you? Will he apologize? Will he break down? What's gonna happen? So now you're not just hurt by what he said, but you're hurt by what he didn't say, right? You're hurt by what he said. You're hurt by what he didn't say. So fighting may be the only time where you feel truly emotionally engaged with him. So you ask, you poke, yeah, you try to get these answers, right? Anything, right? Grasping onto it. But it happens, it can create a false closeness, and you might not see it as closeness, but it is. There is a connection there. But it comes at a cost. It can sometimes, if you're opening up more wounds, create that disconnection. Okay, so yeah, we wanna see conflict as, I guess, managing your own cortisol in your body and how the conflict is coming. Can you say things, ask things, not get the answers you want, and still be like, "Okay, didn't get the answer I wanted, but I'm not gonna let it get the best of me." Okay, number 7, are you hoping the right answer will finally set you free? Absolutely, right? You're like, "If I get the answer I think I'm gonna get, then will it set me free?" So you believe the next answer will be the one that'll give you peace, the one that'll make it all make sense, the one that'll let you move on. The question, like, think about it. List all the questions you want to ask. What are the possible answers? And will you believe them? And will it bring you peace and help you with your healing? Um, Hypnosis shows the subconscious mind that freedom isn't always the perfect answer. Like those answers aren't always what you need to know. You're like, you know what? I don't need to know it. I just need to see action. I need to see him moving forward. I need to see some remorse, but I don't need to know all those answers. Sometimes hypnosis can help you release needing to know because they said your mind, your nervous system needs protection, needs to feel safe. But you're like, you know what? I create my own safety within me. I trust myself. I'll know exactly what to do. And that's what we want to do. We don't want him to have the control, his answers to have control over you. So it helps to go from chasing for clarity to just start finding clarity within. So, with all that said, can you relate? And if so, let me ask you, what strategies have you tried? Are they working? Are you getting results? Often the go to is go to therapy, go once a week, every 2 weeks, maybe even bi weekly. But what happens is clients find me 2 years, 3 years, 5 years later, and they're still feeling stuck. They're like, Beth, I feel so stuck. I can't get off the hamster wheel of these obsessive thoughts. I'm still feeling sad. So often clients don't find me right away. They find me a little bit later on. And what happens is we work with our clients for 12 weeks. It's a results guarantee. It's intense. It's rooted in neuroscience because we don't go more than 3 days, typically 2, without talking to our client. Monday to Friday, every single day, we're checking in and we're rewiring the brain. What are the thoughts? What are the emotions you're feeling? Do you want to think them? Do you want to feel that feeling? If not, let's figure out how to change it. And that's where hypnosis comes in. That thought, we need to rewire it to I am enough. I choose to trust today. Or I can't trust, but I'm learning to trust myself. I can't trust him, but I'm learning to trust myself. And those are the things that are going to create because we said our thoughts create our emotions. And if we can have a different belief, such as, I love myself, I am enough, I deserve better, we'll create really good thoughts, which will create better emotions. So I know you may feel skeptical. Can it happen in 12 weeks? Absolutely can. And if you want to challenge me on all of this, hypnosis, or can it be done in 12 weeks? Please let me know. Send me a comment in here. Let me know. But honestly, neuroscience is the way to go. Everything we do is based on neuroscience, psychology, and some energetics, right? Energetics are so important. It's like the vibration in our body. Are you feeling really low? Or are you feeling that elevated emotion that you want to feel? And so we combine all those three to get your vibration higher, to get your brain thinking the thoughts it wants to think, which will create that energy in your body, that emotion in your body. Because we all know like happiness, peace, it's a very wonderful, wonderful energy to have in your body. So, with that said, put the word DM or comment the word chat, and we're happy to hop on a quick call, 15 minutes, complimentary, totally free, no expectation. We love to give help to others because we believe every wife has the right to heal, whether it's just some free complimentary strategies or whether you want to work with us in an intense way, 12 weeks, or whether it's sessions or whether it's doing a subscription to our hypnosis actual tracks. So with that said, let's figure out what's best for you. Like I said, hop into the Facebook group, tons of resources in there, videos, YouTube has tons of videos as well. But don't hesitate to ask, book a call with us. And remember, you're not alone. You're not alone. And I'm here to provide the tools, the support, the strategies you need. Like I said, insights that are free, or if you want to join one of our programs, we're here to help you heal from the pain, rebuild trust, get and connect with that inner self, rekindle the love with your marriage, even though it's going to be a marriage 2.0. And then last logistic thing really quick is this information in this video is really for educational purposes only. I have to say this just so you know. Um, this information is not to diagnose. I'm not your therapist. I'm not your doctor. I'm a friend on the other side here. I am a certified trained hypnotist and a marriage coach, and the information that I'm providing is for education. It's not personal advice, but if you want, we can hop on a call and I can give you some more strategies myself or one of my team members. So anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining me on this. You're not alone. We got you. And there is hope. There's definitely healing in all this. Thing is, we don't know what the future holds, but we do know that you're going to be okay. You will be okay. You are worthy, you're lovable, and you can heal from this. Things are going to get better. That I can tell you. Okay. Bye, everyone.